Hello friends, and welcome to this new video of our course PostgreSQL programming language. In this section, which is the second section of the PLPGSQL, we are talking about the function. This is video number 5 of this section. In the previous videos we spoke about the structure of the function. Now from this video onward we will talk about the body implementation. The body implementation, which resides in here. What is the structure of this body, and what are the possibilities that we can apply here in terms of adding SQL queries? So we will talk about the structure first, and then later we will talk about the implementation, the possibilities of queries that we can run in the body. Okay, so let us start with this video. First of all, let's create this table. This is just an ordinary table, normal table, which contains some columns: worker name, salary, bonus, total, tax, and it contains no data for now. Now here comes the function. Now when we create the function, we need to notice one of two things. There are two ways to create this function, depending on what type we are returning. If we are returning anything but a row, if we are returning any type, text, integer, boolean, but not a row, in this case we will use this way. On the other hand, if we are returning one row or multiple rows, then we will go with the other way. In this video, I will talk about with the first route, let me say. In this route, we are not returning a row. We are returning any type, but not a row. Could be a text, an integer, a boolean, whatever. So if we are not returning a row, then we can use an ordinary SQL statement. Okay, now let me tell you about one thing when we create the variables in this case. It is in here all over in the manual, especially this section. What is this section says of PostgreSQL? Now PostgreSQL in general recommend that you create the names of the variables same as the names of the table columns. But this thing will create an ambiguity for the engine when it start applying these variables, because they are the same name with the columns. So there will be some ambiguity with this regard. So PostgreSQL recommend one of two ways to solve this ambiguity. The first way is that the name of the column which you applied as a variable, you add to it some extra character. For instance, let's say v underscore salary. The total, let's say x underscore total. The tax, let's say z underscore tax. So this is the first way to apply to distinguish between the variable and the column name. This way Postgres, there will be no ambiguity. Postgres will know that this is a variable and this is a column table. Okay, this is the first way. The second way, it is actually, you remember in the previous videos when we were talking about the structure of the function, we talked that we use the label of a function to qualify a variable in the body of that function. We use the label to qualify a variable in the body of that function. So I have a worker name, which is same as the worker name in the column of the table. So how can I distinguish between? I could use this label and qualify this worker name, just like this. So implement one dot worker name. By doing this is the second way recommended by PostgreSQL. Now the engine will realize that, hey, this is a variable and this is a column of a table. Okay, so this is the second way to distinguish between the names of the variables and the columns of a table. Now, this is variable I used with it. You remember in the previous videos, one of the previous videos, when we use the copying type, when we said that we use the table name and the column name and we add %type. By doing so, anytime this column, when the type of it changes, immediately this changes will reflect in the type of this variable. It's just an extra add-on. Okay, so now this is the first route for the function. We are returning anything but not a row. We are returning a text, an integer, a boolean, whatever, but not a row. So this is the first route. In this route, we can use just an ordinary SQL statement, just like this one, an ordinary SQL statement. Here we can do some implementations as we require. The function takes 3 parameters: worker, text, salary amount, float, and bonus amount. And here we can do some implementations. So we assign the worker to the implement one worker, and we can assign the salary amount to the v salary and the bonus amount to the bonus. And then we do some things, some calculations. We're using an expressions. Okay, so the x total is the summation of the salary and the bonus, and the tax is the multiplication of the salary multiplied by 0.15. Here we insert just an ordinary SQL, the column names and the values that we are taking from these variables. Okay, and we are returning a text. Remember, that's very important. We are returning a text now, because we are not returning a row. We are just returning a single value. We are returning a text, a one value. That's why we were able to use an ordinary SQL. Okay, so let's create this function. Okay, function created. Now let us apply a select star from this function, and we add some values. And let's see what we will get. So let's select. As you can see, we have got a text. Because we are returning a text, just one single value. Now let's take a look at what happened on our table actually. So let's take a look at the table itself. As you can see, we have inserted these values: the name, the salary, the bonus, the total, and the tax. Okay, so this is the first route. When you create the functions, you need to give attention to what is the type you are returning. If it is anything but a row, then you can use an ordinary SQL, and you have to return the type that you are assigning in here. Okay, and for the variables, either you add some extra character, because these variables have the same name of the columns, and or you can use the label as a qualifier. Now you might ask, okay, what if I want to declare a variable which is not in the table? Okay, no problem, you can declare it, it's nothing. But in case you are using variables with the same name of the columns, then you have to use one of these two variables to remove the ambiguity for PostgreSQL engine. In the next video, we will talk what if we want to return one row or multiple rows, how we can do that. Okay, thank you very much for watching this video.